let's start off today's call with, first of all, thank you for showing up for round 2 for week 2. I appreciate every single one of you. I know I've talked to several of you and really dialed down your business. So if you have questions on I think a lot of sparks flew from the last one when I said, choose your one thing, and people were like, I don't know what my one thing is. And I felt like once we started talking about it, maybe that gave you some great insight on what to kind of focus on, what to do, so on and so forth. So hopefully if that did help. And if not, if we haven't had a chance to speak, please don't hesitate to reach out and we can dial yours in. I know we had a lot of ahas with Gretchen's, with Jamie's, with Leslie's. Like that's Kate, I've talked to you plenty of times in person, so I know we've dialed yours down quite a bit. So if any of you do have those questions, please, and every coach's business is different. So I always like to take a look at it, see what's going on. And of course, just really getting to know you and your beautiful stories and why you are a Beachbody coach. So with that being said, looks like a lot of people are popping on. Welcome, Shannon. And Renee's driving. Cool. Let me grab a pen here and we will get this party started. So with that being said, on the last call, how many of you have not had a chance to watch the first call? Yeah, just raise your hand, please. Shannon, have you had a chance? Okay, so if you have not yet, please send me your one thing, what you're focusing on now until the end of the month, right? And then of course we will talk from that point forward. So please send that to me ASAP so I can really understand where you are at with your business, what the big focus is. There is a couple things I want to go over with you real quick before we do get into kind of a topic today. And just a reminder, this is your call. I'm going to treat this like, first of all, I'm not going to come with all the content. You guys are leaders. This is your opportunity to step up, give content, receive feedback, ask questions. Now, as I said in the last, sorry, it might be a little loud in here. But like I said, on the first mastermind, I am the most non-negative person. So if you have negativity, if you have a lot of beef, let it go. Let's talk about it and let's resolve it. Okay. I don't deal with it. If you feel like, one of the biggest things with being a Beachbody coach and moving forward with this business is a mindset and a belief shift. That sounded weird. Shift is what I meant to say, but it sounded like shit, sorry. But it is that. And so you need to get to a point where within this business, you're taking a look at it. Also, if one thing that you've been doing for a long time is no longer working or no longer servicing you, it's time to give it up and move forward. Okay. The best part about this business is always being a teacher, always understanding. Now, if there are beautiful things that are working within your business, do not change them at all. No squirrel mindset, please. But this is your opportunity to collaborate with coaches that are just like you, that are 2-star diamonds that are wanting to grow and progress the next stage within this business. If it's getting back to 2-star diamond by the end of the year, like no ands, ifs, or buts about it. If it's progressing to 3, 4, 5-star diamond, working towards premier and elite, so on and so forth. Okay. This is a hustle group where you are going to dive in and get something out of it. But if you haven't done your power hour, if you haven't signed any customers, coaches, or anything like that month or this month, I would assume, and I would just say that is your time. That is what's most important within your business. And I love you all showing up, but just know your business does not move forward without action. Okay. So if you feel like you're going to get a lot of inspiration on these, awesome. But then after the call, go take flight, go get it done. But this is for you to move your business forward. Okay. Cool. Okay. A couple different things. I've had a lot of coaches ask about the Transform 20, right? Are y'all like, oh my gosh, where's it at? What? Okay. I've been having it from every angle. So these 2 numbers are from the previous week. So I just want to let you know this. So Transform 20 new coaches, they have 16 or more SC points, but this was last week. So I'd probably say SC 20, okay, so far for the month. So by the end of the month, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get another update. This was kind of a mid-month review with it. So it's SC 20, diamonds and below. So that would be emerald, ruby, diamond. Is SC 18 plus. Once again, that was last week. So add a couple, I'd probably say SC 22 at this point. Okay. Hi, Jenny. And then from there, where all of you are ranked within this, it is at least, let me get the number that I wrote down for my other leaders. And this is elite points, okay? It is 20 plus elite points, not SC points, elite points. So those are the 3 categories of your 2017, 2018 coaches hitting SC. And reminder, we double that number once you hit SC. Also, you getting new coaches and customers started volume. That's our APV. And then 1 or more SC points for for new signups. So coaches within their first or second month, you get 1 point once they do sell something, right? Get 1 SC point on the board. Okay. So just a reminder, that's 20 plus elite points. And that number is kind of sporadic because it could include a lot of coaches that haven't had their HD ship yet. Okay. So you're not qualified for SC until you actually have your HD ship. And a lot of HDs are on the 28th of the month. Okay. So those are kind of sparse numbers kind of out there, but you have an idea. All right. So just kind of know that. I will afterwards, I'll type it up and put it in our group. Does that sound good? So that way you can go back to it. Okay, cool. So that's what that is. But I want to talk today all about Success Club. And the reason I say that, I've had so many coaches actually reach out and say, okay, I really feel like we need to talk about Success Club, not only personal Success Club, but also most importantly, your coaches hitting Success Club. So do you mind unmuting yourself and telling all of us, what are some of these successes that you have had to setting the expectations with your coaches for them to help people? Will you please unmute yourself, and whoever, it's my brave first person to talk. Anybody? Really? Y'all have done something. You're all a 2-star diamond.
I'm driving, but I can talk.
Renee, I love it. Go, girl.
So I asked my girls, like, what motivated them or, like, why they, because I was like, I don't know if I'm doing anything special. Like, I hit it every month, and that's just been a non-negotiable for me since day one. And so I asked them, like, what keeps you guys motivated to hit it? And they said, like, me cheering them on, me hitting it, them seeing me be successful in the business, and I send my girls Success Club, like, gifts each month, like, just nothing crazy or huge, but just a little gift to show them, like, that they're doing awesome and that they're, you know, helping change so many lives and moving their business forward, and just kind of continuing to create that excitement and that recognition for what they're doing and how important that is for their business and for the team. And that seems to be a good motivator.
For sure. Is this also for all coaches or just the 2017, 2018?
I do it for all of my coaches that hit Success Club. And there's even girls where sometimes gift giving and, like, gift receiving is my love language. So even if my girls don't hit SC, but they're working their butts off and they're sharing and getting on the board, I'll usually send them, like, something little, or even just a card to, like, let them know how much I appreciate, you know, what they're doing and moving their business forward.
For sure. Thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate that.
Can I ask Renee a question? Renee, can you share, do you have a separate team page for, oh, everyone's locked up. Am I locked up?
Nope. We can hear you.
Darn.
We can hear you, Shannon.
Okay. I was just wondering if, because, like, I have everyone in one team page. So do you do this for everyone on your team downline also, or just your personally sponsored?
So my girls that hit Success Club, like my PS coaches, and I have a couple, like, grandbaby coaches that I've kind of taken under my wing if their coach isn't really actively coaching. I will send them an SC gift, but we also, my diamonds and I do like team gifts for, like, our team and my downline. So, like, last month I found these cute little Boss Babe tote bags at, like, Marshall's for a few bucks, and then I put a few little goodies in them. And we were like, okay, I have 4 of these to give away. There might be something fun inside of this for whoever hits SC and signs 2 coaches up this month. And so we had 4 girls who hit that goal. And so I'm going to send them that little tote. So we kind of do, like, one for the team for the month, and then, like, just individually we decide on whether we do. And like I said, it's not anything, like, huge usually, like a cute little notepad and pen, or like a cute headband, which, like, Amazon has really cute ones for super cheap. Little stuff like that.
You're awesome, Renee. Thank you. Especially since you're driving. Appreciate you answering that. Perfect. Who else wants to talk about SC and what you do for your team? And I would assume, and I like that you asked that, Shannon, specifically it should be for your team, right? I love the fact that you do a drawing for maybe those other coaches, but keep in mind, this is specifically for your coaches. If you consistently do it always for them, guess what happens? It allows their leaders to never have to do that for their team. So I like, obviously some people fall through the cracks and I get that, but I love the drawing aspect. What about SC? Kate, Leslie, Gretchen, Jamie.
One thing is that I did for my 2017 and 2018 is I created just a Facebook push chat group for just my 2017, 2018 coaches. And then I do have one for people who stay in Success Club, but these are people who I recognize them in the push chat if they help somebody, if they get a point on the board, because I know their points also matter towards elite, but also we do just bi-weekly calls where we check in, and then if they're hitting Success Club, this is something that I got from Amy. She said I needed to stop. It was kind of like what you said, stop trying to wake the dead and stop trying to manage people and want them to show up for their business more than they do. So I kind of am now really only focusing, if they've been in my organization for a while, then they have to get points on the board to earn a call with me or hit Success Club if they've been a coach for me for a year or something, just because I was spending too much time trying to be a therapist, like Connie Podesta said at the leadership training, and not doing that. So having different pods for people, like the monthly people, I have one for our downline for people in Success Club. And then I do just my 2017, 2018 coaches have one. And then I do the gifts, of course, for my personally sponsored coaches, but I do Success Club 10. Because I do have a few who push for that. And something Amy said also is stop rewarding coaches for doing the bare minimum. Because if you were to do the bare minimum at a normal job, you'd get fired. And we're grateful to already have Beachbody reward us for so much. So that's kind of trying to where I'm shifting my focus to that.
Can I get an amen? Thank you for saying, it's honestly, right? Mm-hmm. I so agree with that. I also feel eventually, this might be within your realm right now, but as you grow and progress with this, that it might end up being a lot of coaches. And so a lot of coaches will do previous year and current year, because it's 2 years before, they should know how to do it. But I agree with you so much. If we did the bare minimum, we would get fired. So raising that bar, I love that. Okay. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead, Evan.
Who's going? Me? Okay.
Yep.
There was, I think I saw this in Beachbody Champions, but I recently used it, and I think it kind of creates FOMO a little bit of who's already hit Success Club. So a few times throughout the month, I'll just post in our team page, drop a different colored heart, whether you've hit Success Club 10 plus, if you've hit Success Club 5, if you've helped 1 to 2 people, or if you haven't hit anybody at all. And people are oh my gosh, so-and-so already hit Success Club and it's only the 5th of the month, or, whatever. It kind of creates that little bit of, I guess, competition and FOMO that it's oh, this brand new coach already hit Success Club and I'm sitting back not doing anything. And I think it's kind of helped people to push a little bit more than maybe they would if they didn't see that other people were already hitting it.
For sure. And then you have something to talk about if you jump on a team call and be okay, what are you doing? You're obviously having a great month. No, I love that, Amanda. Thank you so much. Okay, Gretchen, you wanted to go, hon.
Yeah. One thing we've started to do is kind of what Caitlin said, we're no longer going to be putting on the board people on our SC boards, because it's the whole give a medal for last place type mentality. And again, want to create that FOMO, because I'm really trying to, because for me, it was a non-negotiable. My coach said you hit Success Club 10 no matter what. And I'm okay. But my people, I'm struggling there. So I'm trying to figure out their language and what they're rewarded by. So one is I want those board people to not sit at 4 because their name's not on the board, because then they see their name and they're tagged with other people and they're oh, but I still made it. So that, and then when I'm talking to them, my new coaches, kind of the same, Caitlin, is my older coaches, you have to have points on the board or hit Success Club to get a call. My new ones, though, we're doing more live power hours with them, and I'm really kind of asking them, not saying the word Success Club all the time, just saying, how many people do you want to bring to our group? And reverse engineering their invites, because I'm finding they all say, oh, well, I want to hit 5 and 10, and then they don't invite and they're not posting. So we're going back to the simple daily things and being hard on the ones that I know can take it, saying, well, you're not posting and inviting, so you're never going to hit it. But really figuring out what they need, and just, but also in my new ones, it's like a blip on the radar of our new coach training now. Well, SC5 is like the barest minimum. 10, like, because it used to be like hit this and then hit 10 and you're going to blow up your business. But 2-star is basically our bare minimum now. And I think that mentality has just kind of helped. And I really just have started talking about it, the 5 and 10 in the beginning, whatever, it's going to get you all these things, but it's the funnel. And if you don't get your funnel going and you get those small wins in right away, they're going to sit back. Because I've had people sit at 4. So I'm trying to figure out how to get them over so I'm struggling with this area, but just, oh, here comes my little man, trying to figure out how to speak their language, because not everybody's like me. You can't just say hit it and then you're like, boom, non-negotiable, I'll work my ass off. So I need to figure out, and then also not dragging them along anymore. If they're not going to hit it, moving on. Next person.
I feel like everybody gets to that point within their business. It's cut and dry. It's like, this is what it is. But you said a great point. And I know her upline very, very well. And I love the expectation, because yes, you can say it to many, but it may not work. But I will say the majority of my coaches, when I ask them, okay, you're incredible at SE, why? And the thing that they say, my coach told me it was non-negotiable. And so, many times within this business, we still have a problem with setting the expectations, what's expected, how to become successful with their business. But I feel like, just a reminder, if you don't set the bar on what is needed, if they fail, it is a reflection of you and your leadership. And I feel like that is such a strong burden on your shoulders. I feel like you need to set them up for success. And if the expectations are too strong, they can say, whoa, okay, that's a little much. And what would be less than that? And then you can say, okay, you walk, I walk. Let me show you how. You run, I run, that type of thing. But I love that you brought that up, Gretchen. And I feel like it's always that conversation of, okay, they've helped 2, how can they help 1 more, right? So if anybody has that golden ticket, please share. Jenny, do you have that golden ticket? She giggled. She's like,
no, sorry. I'm being quiet because I'm shopping, but long story. I feel like this is my weakest area by far, so I have like a lot of insecurity about it. So I feel like not that much I've done has really worked, but I'm kind of at that same point. The people that have hit Success Club for me are the ones that have followed along, and they've decided they care about their business, and then they decide to show up, and they decide to do the life power hours. They decide to use the things I've provided to them. And I'm sort of at this point where I don't feel like anything I do beyond that really has any impact, other than I should be leading more by example and bringing in more people. But I feel like the tools are there, the expectations there, and I have them start doing a win the week tracker in our team page, and people are inviting like 5 people a week. And so I'm like, well, that's why you're at SC0. So I can't help you if you don't use the things there. And my upline does prizes for our entire team. Really cool, cute gifts. And they've done that for like years, and it doesn't seem to motivate people if they're not already internally motivated. Maybe that's just my people. Like they like the gift, but it's not going to make them do the work. So anyway, I think I'm kind of rambling. All I've really found is I give them the tools, I do the life power hours, and those that show up are successful, but I have a trouble finding people that want to show up consistently. It seems to be my problem. So
it's everybody. No, you're good. It's everybody's. And I feel like you're right by Bath and Body Works.
I am actually in Safeway because we got to family vacation at like 9 p.m. and we have no food, and my children are in the house going, no. So sorry, but my husband will kill me if I don't do this. So
you're so good. No, you're good. You're good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, go. Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to
go.
One thing that I realized where my whole downline was struggling, and this was something that I sucked at as a new coach, and then it trickled down into my leader and her leaders. It's when I started coaching, Amy had started building her social media, and so she had built this awesome attraction marketing. So she didn't necessarily have to do, or I didn't see her doing invites, actual setting messages as much. So for a really long time, and that was also my was an invite, and I was I had all these weird fears around cold messaging people because we all see other multi-level marketing companies that are creepy as F with it. And so for a really long time, I struggled with inviting, and I struggled with like talking to people. And I was like adding new people, and I was like, well, I'm inviting, I'm posting invites on my social media, but I wasn't actually inviting. And then one, like my coach who's a 1-star on my team was doing the same thing. She's really great at attraction marketing, but she was struggling with like invites, and it worked really well for her and it worked decently for me, but it's like you hit a plateau, and she was hitting that plateau. And then it happened with her coach, and I realized it was because I wasn't actually like inviting actually, like, and I was doing it, but just not consistently, and I wasn't like being a strong leader and like teaching. And I think sometimes one big thing that I noticed this year that's really helped our team was that there was like a misconception in my downline, because once I changed, like sometimes you still have to continue to say it, because I had been doing trainings, but then my leaders weren't training their coaches correctly on it. And so it was like trickling down and like getting real and being like, okay, an invite on social media is not like, that's what I say is like your soft invite, or like your social media is your storefront, but the invite is like the behind the counter work, and you can't have one without the other. So if you're inviting and you're not posting on social media, that's not going to work, because you have to build that trust. But if you are like, it's just the ego thing that we think we're inviting when we're adding people. And then it was also getting real with like, people thought they were inviting when they were adding people or forming people, when to me now I only count an invite as like sending somebody a message, inviting them to a challenge group. So like getting very clear about that on our team calls, and then just like breaking down what I'm sending to people and constantly sharing that in the team page, and like getting real about actually like sending invites and not hiding behind like your posts.
So I have a question for you, Kate. Are you doing any type of power hour to show them specifically what an invite looks like?
So based on the last Super Saturday video, they were talking about like power 15s or something, hopping on, but we just tack those on to the end of our team calls. So we give them 15 minutes and they can ask about like how we invite, and then we like do that together. And we all just send invites, or I'm sending invites, I'm assuming that they are, and then we share what we're doing in there. And right now also with, Amy and like other Set Your Soul on Fire leaders, we did a make it a 100 challenge, like because everybody wants to be in the Shanti test group thing. And so we did like a challenge where you had to have 1 point in the board to get into this group, and all of us leaders are going live and doing trainings, and there's power hours in there too. But after that, we're going to get back to more like team power hours and things, but yes.
Cool.
And then screenshots in the team pages.
Yeah, Jamie, go.
Something that I just wanted to go off of what she just said. I've been doing the same thing where I'm saying posting on social media for an invite just is not really an invite. So the way that I explained it, I'm super visual, so I always have different ways of explaining things, but it's kind of like when you go buy an Old Navy and they're saying 50% off, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, sweet, that's awesome. That's super inviting. Let's go buy some activewear, right? That's kind of what it is. But you only see that sign in Old Navy if you're walking by Old Navy. And a lot of people are not walking by our posts, you know, like it's not being shown to every single person that we think everyone's seeing it. And we're like, oh, why isn't anyone wanting to do this? Blah, blah, blah. But it's because they're not walking by. So I am big at just inviting behind the scenes. But what's worked for me is I just do like super simple, like, hey girl, my girls and I are about to do another round of my 4-day program, and I was wondering if you'd want to do it with us. That's it. And so then I just send it to people, and then they're like, yeah, that sounds fun. And I just try to make it like less weird, like more like a conversation that you're having with a normal person, instead of like this big long spiel of you get this and this and this and blah, 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 you know. And if they want to join, great. If they don't, then they don't. And I start a lot of new conversations that way. And then on Instagram, if they showed some sort of interest, I star them, and then I'll follow up with them again next month and be like, I know you were sort of interested last month, but you weren't quite ready. So I just thought that I'd let you know that I'm starting another group, and I didn't want you to think I forgot about you, and then do that. So I keep it so super simple. But with the invites, I always say, like, not everyone's walking by your store. Not everyone's, and if you don't have good content, then nobody's going to be looking at your store because it's ugly as heck. So I'm just like such a tough love coach when it comes to how people run their social medias and their storefronts and stuff. But if you have a bad location of a store, if you're not making it look nice, if you're not maintaining it, if you're not doing anything, then chances are your business is going to suck. And so that's pretty much how I do it. So
I love the simplicity though, and I feel like that is obviously huge. So does anybody have any questions for Jamie? That was really, really, really good. Awkward silence. Y'all feel it? No, but I love
Here,
it.
I have a quick question.
Yes, Jenny, go.
Sorry, I'm like checking out, but I'd be curious, how is everyone sharing like their ideas for how to invite and how to like I use like Google Docs that I distribute, but I notice sometimes people that are new coaches seem overwhelmed or they don't see all the information. So I'd just be curious how you guys are like teaching that in a simple way.
I just go live in my group talk. I mean, I'm not really good at like putting everything in text and explaining things through that way. I just go live in my groups and I'll do screenshots. Somebody said the same thing of what I invited or examples like that. But I am so not like naturally organized. Like I'm just not. Like that will never be who I am, no matter how hard I try. So like for me, I just talk because my passion helps. That's it. If I try to write it out, chances are it's going to be misspelled. My grammar is going to be wrong. I'm not going to have periods. It'll probably be emojis. I don't know. But I just literally go live and talk about everything.
I honestly just share the invite I'm using right now, like with my team, like, hey guys, this is what I'm sending out today, like based on whatever's going on, like during that week. And then usually they're like, oh, I don't know why I was making it so complicated. But yeah, when I normally see their conversations, like they're using words that like totally make me cringe, you know, like money back guarantee and like all these things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Okay, let's rewind. So like, let's keep it simple. Like you were saying, Jamie. And I do accountability check-ins like with my girls, like in the thread. So I'll just, because I think a lot of times they just underestimate what it takes to hit Success Club, like how many connections they need to be making, how many invites they need to be sending. And they think it comes really easy for me and they don't see the work behind the scenes. And so when we're all sharing, like, this is how many connections I made, this is how many invites I actually sent, like, I don't remember who talked about it, but actual invites, they see that it takes more than what they're doing. Like you can't just invite 3 people a week or even, you know what I mean? Like a day. And so, but one thing I just picked up from you guys is that the girls that aren't doing the accountability check-ins don't need to be in my thread, because that is literally like the most frustrating thing to me is like, I'm trying to hold you accountable and you're not even showing up. Like it's really frustrating. So I thrive on accountability, but I feel like that's just something that should be expected. But so I really like whoever talked about that, like not having people in your group that aren't, you know, or in your thread that aren't showing up and doing the minimum at least. So
is that opportunity, go on, Kate. Go.
I just think that creates FOMO too, because that's what I do. I want to give people a 3rd chance, a 4th chance, a 5th chance. It is like my weak point. And it's really hard to do when you're building a business where like you want to give people all the chances. You don't want to remove them. But what I've realized, it creates FOMO for the people who get kicked out. And then on calls or they see you with those other people and they're like, damn, like I want back in. So as hard as it is, like I tell myself, tough love in that area is okay, like totally fine, and it only benefits them.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Caitlin.
It'll give your leaders mad respect for yourself. You're sticking up for you, for where you're at, for how hard you're working. And I agree. I mean, this business is all built around FOMO. You want to get your, you know, your coaches back in from the dead, like create FOMO. Don't stop inviting them, stop asking them to do things, just create the excitement around the newness. And all of a sudden they want to be part of it. I love this too. And I want to go back to what Renee said. It's like, how do you get your coaches to do it? You have to show them. You have to prove that you are showing up every single day. And typically what I always hear from my leaders is if I want my leaders to do SC10, I need to be hitting SC20 plus. It's like they always typically do half of what you do. And I know that's hard to hear, but I would just remind yourself, like, and I beat this horse so dead last week, right? And I'm going to say, you're probably going to be like, yeah, you did. This business moves forward with SC10 and above, like hands down, right? Like you have to help 5 people no matter what. Like it's not the bare minimum. It is the bare minimum to move your business forward. And so I would just remind them like, hey, if I'm expecting my team to do this, I have to do at least this double, if not triple more than what they're doing. But this is good conversation. Okay, what else? SC Shannon, you're unmuted. Go.
Yeah, I wanted to do a quick tip. I saw someone else had said something about Instagram and starring people. And a lot of you guys might know this, but I just found out a tip on Instagram that I'm so excited about. And it has to do with the little bookmark thing. If you bookmark a person or something, and then you can add it to, what was it called? Add it to collections. And you can have all these different little collection folders. So like if you could have one that says potential coaches or post ideas or photo ideas or, whatever they are. But I saw that and I was like, oh, this is so cool. So I just had to share that.
That's awesome. Thank you. Tons of those.
I have one last thing. I was just going to say, just talking about, someone said, showing them what you're doing. And like you just said, literally my screenshots of conversations is I'm not preaching, here's a sample script or this is what you do. They're actually like seeing that I'm just loving on people. I'm like, take your effing Beachbody coach hat off and just talk to people. And they've seen like I've screenshot like lots of them. Or if we're on power hours, I'm like, okay, you want to see, let's scroll through my messages. And I don't want to waste time. But the fact that they actually see that it took me like, okay, that conversation started a year ago. And then I followed up, but just seeing the realness of it, that I'm actually doing it instead of saying, oh, go to the Google Doc and see the sample script of a Hey Girl. Because then they like I'm like, pick, if I know randomly who I've just talked to recently, give me an objection and I'll show you what I said to them. So somebody said money and I went to somebody and broke it down and they were like, oh, mind blown. I'm like, oh, you just talk. So sometimes I feel like they need to see what you're actually doing to kind of believe that you're doing it. Like, yeah, like I'm not at attraction marketing, but if I had, like, you'd be like, oh, they don't invite. And if we don't hit 10, they're thinking, oh, well, she's rocking it as so-and-so this and not hitting 10. So I've also upped my game with numbers and now they're like, oh snap, like I gotta catch up. So I just wanted to say the screenshotting, we just do it randomly on our team page all the time now when we think it's a good one. And people are like, thank you so much. And our team page is now really recognizing what we want duplicated and showing what we're doing to duplicating and not making it too complicated. And it seems to be kind of working and dumbing it down for people.
You rock. I love that.
Something I've done recently is just gone live in my team page and just shared like where my points came from. So kind of speak to, the people who would take forever to, like, it's not like I just invited this person on Thursday and then they purchased on Tuesday or whatever, but I just kind of went through how I was finding people and kind of what that came from, showing them that the value of making sure you are hitting Success Club and, being a paid Emerald coach and earning those leads and just kind of all that stuff. And I can't say it really made a big impact on people, but it seemed like a good idea.
I feel like it probably did. Just keep doing it. Keep, repeating that. But I love that. Thank you so much. I want to ask you all, how many follow-ups does it typically take for you to get a sell? Is it more than 3? Raise a hands. 3? How many more? 3, 5, 7, 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay. 3 to 5. Cool. So I feel like don't forget to tell your coaches that, typically, and Gretchen, you said it. It's like, yes, I talked to this person a year ago. Like it is always the consistency in the follow-up, obviously. So I love that. Anything else on SC before we move forward? We only have about less than 10 minutes. SC.
I have a quick question. So if you get a new coach that gets on the board with an SC point and they hit Success Club, do you also get the doubled points? So you'd get 4 points for that, right?
You'd get 3.
3.
Yeah.
3 points.
You would get 3 as long as you hit SC and get your HD. Yep. Absolutely. Okay. Great question. Okay, Heather, I saw you. Yep. Go ahead.
So I apologize. I'm out at Starbucks. Is it too loud? It's good. Okay. So I'm actually struggling myself personally with Success Club. So this has been great to hear all this and to have some ideas on how to pull my team in. But one of the things that I do try to focus on with new coaches is trying to get them to success starters and at least getting them to understand the value of the challenge pack so that they really personally believe that that's the best value for people. But I do talk to them about, and this is something I think I heard kind of in the network marketing realm called the hot market strategy. And I think I've heard someone in Beachbody talk about it too. But I talk to them about essentially making a list of like 10 to 15 people. For some people that might be a struggle, but even they could find 5 people who would say if in the middle of the night you're in a desert road, it's 3 a.m. and your car breaks down, who are those people who would come help you? Like, who are the people who would support you? And trying to find those friends, family, coworkers that would be willing to support your new business and invest in a challenge pack so that that person can get the experience coaching people and get those first couple of testimonials and actually see the programs in action with people and being able to walk people through them. And it's really kind of like on the job training. And if they can find that handful of people who'd be willing to buy a challenge pack so that they can practice on them and get their first success stories and help them launch their business, then that's a great way to start. And I do find that my coaches who start off more successful are the ones who kind of go out and do that, and they find those people who are willing to kind of be the pilot group, right? So anyway, I wanted to share that because I find that takes the fear away for new coaches about talking. The challenge pack is great because they get a chance to see the impact of using Shakeology. They get to work with clients using the containers, and then they get to practice helping someone select the right program for them on Beachbody On Demand. So they're getting to practice all of the really big pieces, or what I like to say are like the key components. I feel like VOD, containers, Shakeology, those 3 things, and you're golden.
For sure. No, thank you so much for sharing. And thank you for, the honesty of just like, I'm struggling personally with SE. So if I'm struggling, like what, how does that reflect in my downline? And what I would say to you, Heather, is first and foremost, just start with phase 1, 4 vitals. Like how can you go 100% in on, your fitness, nutrition, obviously. Personal development is going to be a huge one. And I would highly recommend, like I did last week, is The Power of Positive Leadership. I feel like that's such a great book to kind of reset. Jamie, do you like it? Okay, cool. Right after our talk, I was like, I feel like this is a good one. But I feel like that gives you that opportunity to, whoop, whoop, Amanda, love it. To understand like how you have to showcase what you're working towards and why they're part of this community. And if you can really build a community and a brand, they're more apt to go with you together, right? So I love that you brought that up. So I would just say go back to phase 1. What do you need to, and maybe it's the excitement of starting Lift 4 over again and the invite behind it. Just really like hone in on like, if I was a brand new coach, what would I do? And I would stick right to that. Because most of the time when my coaches are struggling, it's like, okay, where are you at with your, with your journey? What program are you doing? And as soon as you get that excitement back, then it's easy to talk and share and those types of things. But I love that you brought that up. And then Jenny did ask, how many invites do you recommend they do? How many do you do? So I'm assuming for coaches, new coaches, Jenny? Sorry, you're driving.
Yeah. So I was, no, I'm parking. So yeah, I was curious what you guys recommend to your, like when you're training new coaches and you say, okay, this is how many people you should be inviting to hit Success Club. Cause I know people always think that like, it just takes like 5 people and then they're going to get it. So I was curious. And then I was curious, like personally, how many you guys do? Is that the same? Like I know for me, I can hit Success Club with a lot fewer invites than my new coaches. So just curious. But obviously I'm trying to step up my game. So that's why
good question. So how many, with your new coaches, how many invites do you tell them that they need to be doing in order to hit Success Club? Ooh, I think you just asked a really good question. It's like that, like Jamie, go.
Honestly, for me, I just tell them how many I'm doing because speed of the leader, speed of the pack. And I feel like if we sit there and say, like I'm doing this much, but I expect you to do this much, and we set the bar so much lower for them, then they're always going to be at that speed, at that what we set for them. Like, and I always tell them, like, hitting Success Club is nothing. Like, you're helping people. If you're not hitting Success Club, then you're not even showing up to work, you know? So like if you're hitting SC5, SC10, and you're only inviting, you know, 20, 30, like 5 people a day and doing my power hour, and I'm like, girl, you are on the toilet longer than you're doing a power. So like while you're on the toilet, since you already have your phone, like sit there and start inviting. You could probably invite like at least 10 people every time you're sitting on the toilet. So that's what I say. Like, how many times you go to the bathroom in the day? And if you're drinking your water, then you're going to the bathroom quite often. So you can at least invite 10 people every bathroom sitting. That's at least 50 people a day. Like, I mean, I just tell them that it's like a numbers thing. So like, if you're working, if you want this to be your full-time job, then you need to do it. And I will admit the last 2 months have been really the hardest time for me this year with family stuff. But usually hitting Success Club for me is pretty easy-ish, but I am always inviting, and I'm always doing that. So like, I just really give them the same expectation that I give myself. And I've stopped saying, okay, let's get you to Emerald. I'm like, hey, let's get you to Diamond. We need to get you to 2-star Diamond, because to me, Emerald is like crawling, and babies don't even really think about crawling. They just do it, but really they want to walk. You know what I mean? And that's what I think about it as. And so I don't know. I just, however many invites you're doing, if you're doing 50 invites a day, then you tell them to get on the toilet and do 50 invites a day. I don't know if that's weird or not. That's how I think about it.
Tom, are you getting all this? He's like, good. I agree, though. I don't think the bar should be any less. I feel like, yes. We do love your analogies. Keep them coming, please. But Jenny, I completely agree with her. I feel like you just say, you know what? Every single day I do 30 to 50, but let me tell you how I do those. Like, let me show you. But I agree. And if they say, whoa, that's way too many, awesome. So it sounds like to me, you just want to get your Shakeology paid for. What does that mean? Like, just set the expectation as high as possible so they can understand it, because it would be better for them to know the expectation, know what it takes, and say, you know what, that's a little too much. It's not my time right now, maybe a couple months. Okay, cool. But at least you know what it's going to take to build this business, And I feel like this is so true. And Cozy said this. I didn't say this because she hadn't spoke yet to my leaders. But she said, Cozy Folsom, so she's a 5-star Diamond coach. She will be elite this year. She said, when I portrayed this business as fun and exciting and not hard, I got people that same exact thing. Like, as soon as somebody said no, they were out. Done, finished, through. But as soon as she started portraying this business as, you know what, this is a lot of freaking hard work. I show up every single day. I work my business every single day, and I'm building a 6-figure income from home. But I promise you, it is hard work, but it is worth it. She started getting the people that started doing the hard work and weren't complaining as soon as they got a no. So I feel like as soon as you can kind of just switch that in your brain, be like, you know what, I can show you how it is going to be a lot of hard work, but I promise you, you can work 3 to 5 years compared to somebody working 30 to 50 years to create an income that is incredible. Like, I feel like as soon as you start talking more to that level too, you're going to get people that are just going to show up and do this, right? Less excuses. Yeah, go.
Question. So, because I've answered this question from my coaches a couple times, Jamie, so I'm just wondering what your answer would be. How do you respond to coaches that say, I don't have anyone left to invite, I ran out of people?
Then I say, you're telling yourself a total big fat lie, because we have literally every single person that's on social media at our fingertips. Like, that's pretty much what I say. And a lot of people say, I don't really have a warm market and all this stuff. Well, neither did I. Like, my family is all doing drugs and stuff. The last thing that they're trying to do is put superfoods into their body, right? Like, I don't have a warm market. And so I had to just sit there and use the power of social media as my storefront. And so they don't get to use that excuse with me. And like, I tell them, like, if you want this, you'll go up and you'll show up. And there's so many different tools to grow your social media, your Instagram following, all of the things. And so I'll give them like the tools and stuff that has helped me. you can sit in your house and not find anyone, but literally you could sit in your house and find thousands and thousands of people just from social media. So those people that give me that excuse know that I kind of right away, just because I don't even talk about talking to your warm market or your friends, because in my experience, friends and warm market were the hardest people. My mother-in-law's had 2 weight loss surgeries, and she finally just started drinking Shakeology and loves it. But 4 years she would not do it and had 2 weight loss surgeries during those 4 years. So it's like, and I love her to death. She's like the best human on this earth, but they're like the hardest people. So I always try to start people with their cold market. Just start with people like that. And then, you know, everyone that's of the product, you're going to attract them. They're going to want to know what you're doing. If you're not being super salesy and yucky and you're posting, then you're going to do it. But pretty much I just tell them to get to work, honestly.
For real. Okay, I want you guys all to answer this last question, and then we'll get going. But I will just reiterate what Jamie said. I feel like, well, first and foremost, you will have more credibility with the people that you do not know. Okay, they will believe in you more. You can set the pace of where you're going and why. And your family, if this is, you know, if they're like, what is she or he doing? I don't understand. Allow them to watch, but it will take years. I promise you. And Jenny even said it, like, yes, close friends and family are the worst. And so I would definitely teach cold market. How do you get this out to more people, and start building your tribe of people that you want to be around every single day. That's what this is all about. Okay. Tom says the opposite for me. I love it. Yes. And everybody in Tom's family is on board. So Tom, you're 1 in a million. I will say it right now. But it's amazing, you know, and then from you showing up every single day, being the good example, hopefully they will jump on board. But it is amazing when you can build that community of people that you obviously have not known. I want to follow up just with this question. So Jenny is asking 30 to 50 invites per day. What is your number? What is your golden number? If you'll just, will you guys just write it in the chat threads so we can kind of see how many invites is it taking for you to be successful in this business every single month? Write it in there, if you will, please. 40. Okay, this is good. Okay. This is a day. Yes. 25 a week. Okay, cool. Like it. There's not a wrong number here. I will promise you that. Not a day. Okay, that's okay. We'll do bulk weekly invites. Perfect. Check invites per day. 3 to 5 a day. Find my sweet spot. Day. Okay. No worries. Okay, so did you see every single, it's fine. Every single person's is different. Every single, and I would just say you need to find a number that's going to work for you. But I would just remind you, you are in a network marketing business. That means you talk to people. That means you gain relationships. It's one of the most beautiful businesses, but it all comes down to you listening, asking questions, becoming a friend and a mentor and a leader. And it's not all about the salesy. It's really getting to know them. Obviously on Instagram, it's a little bit different because if anybody's watching your stories, you can write to them immediately. Hey, are you also into nutrition and fitness? Yeah. And then they can say, yeah, I'm a Beachbody coach. Awesome. Now you know where that stands, right? Or, hey, are you also a mama too? Oh my gosh, cool. Like you have an opportunity to go right there to the next step. And that's fine. If you're completely starting over, you're renovating. And I would say run it like treat yourself as a brand new coach. What would you do on day 1 to start fresh? And I said this before, Shannon, you were on last times, and I know you said you listened to it, but every single one of you, just remind yourself, stop comparing yourself to where you used to be within this business. New day, new year, new everything. Start completely fresh. I could give 2 craps about where you were before. It's all about right now where you're going from this point forward, okay? Because I hope we all have grown past that. Super helpful. Yep. No, that's really good, Jamie. Cool. Well, let's close up this call. I'm glad that we took a moment on SC. I hope that kind of opened up your eyes and either reiterated what you're doing is right, or maybe it's a layer that you need to add on. But the consensus is obviously you showing your coaches what it takes, how many invites you're doing a day, setting the expectation, how, if they were just going to hit the minimums, they would get fired from a job if they really want this business. Like, I hope you took some great little nuggets today from this. And then I would just say, if anything great happens as far as SC going from now until the end of the month, share it within our group. Okay, I will go post immediately the Transform 20, what those numbers look like. Anytime I get an update, I will put it in there. But just know that this is an update from last week, and then the Elite Point numbers for you guys is updated as of yesterday. So I'll put all that. You're welcome. Okay, cool. Well, you all have a great day. Thanks for popping on. All right. If you need anything, let me know. Reach out. Everybody that's reached out and has done a one-on-one, I appreciate it. If you need it, I'm here for you. Okay. All right. Talk to y'all soon. You're welcome.